Welcome back, fellow Illumineers, to be our guest. We're back! How many of these videos are we gonna get out before we disappear again for 11 months? Who's to say? We launched our Amber set review on the day that I'm recording this, and people actually watched it again. Some of you out there apparently still know who the heck I am or have some desire to watch some draft videos, so that's awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I can't say this enough. I've missed you all so much. I've missed this so much. I'm gonna keep blabbering like this for a while. But what the heck are we doing today? By the time you see this video, all the set reviews are out. What is there left to do? Well, we gotta practice. So how are we gonna do that? Well, not in a great way, if I'm honest, but practice is practice. So, there is a digital creator out there who's created something called Inktable, where you can test out various things, including draft. Amazing! You can also test out sealed if you're so inclined. I'm more of a draft fan than a sealed fan. It is against an AI, so I'm going to mention probably a lot of times when the AI is making decisions both in the draft and in the play, where it's AI. What can you do, right? It's not going to be like playing against a person. So we're not going to be talking about how these are perfect picks or perfect lines. It's more a matter of when you've got 2 or 3 of these cards in the same pack, what should you pick, right? So regardless of if AI's feeding me some sweet cards, pick 9, still, what is the pick, right? When we're in this situation, what's the pick? So I feel like regardless if we're talking about AI or inhuman drafting, there's still some good lessons to be had there in terms of what should I be picking, right? And then when we get to the play, right, it's against an AI, it's a weak opponent, but ultimately, can we walk through some of the lines that we were going to construct with the type of picks that I'm directing you to take, right? So it's all well and good for me to say these are good cards, but I want to demonstrate how these work in conjunction with each other, right? So all that's to say, let's jump right into it. Let's talk about some draft picks here. So we're pick 1, pack 1. We can go in any direction. And if you've watched these set reviews, you'll know that there's a couple of cards here that are going to be at the top for me. So we've got Stitch Underdog, which is probably the top pick in terms of quality for me, in terms of value. We've got Daisy Duck, which is an excellent 2-drop. Not my top 2-drop, but definitely a really solid pick up there. Other than that, it's a pretty bad pack. Flora's fine. Anna can be fine, and the fact that we would be picking her early means that we can kind of build around her. So maybe we go that direction, even though Stitch is significantly better. Maybe we go in that direction, or maybe we pick Daisy Duck to stay open with uninkables, right? Because, as I've mentioned, there's a lot of high-quality uninkables in this set, and we don't want to necessarily be taking Stitch and run into a situation where we have too high a concentration. I think all things considered, Stitch is my pick here. Anna, you could absolutely make an argument for and build around her from the start, but I just don't think that she's necessarily the quality that we're looking for. Like I said, there's plenty of times where she's just going to be a 7-drop, 4/5 uninkable, and that's painful. Another bad pack. What do we have here that we actually care about? Cogsworth, pretty solid. Any of these 1-cost 2/2s, happy to have. Vision of the Future, perfectly reasonable. For me, it's between Cogsworth and Rudy here, and I prefer to get better 1-drops than these if I can help it, namely Arthur. The Ruby 1-drop. Cogsworth is not a 1-drop. Let me just make that clear. Yes, he costs 1, but he's not an early play. He's something that you want to be playing later, so I'm not qualifying that as a 1-drop in the sense of something that I'm looking to play out early. It still matters for your curve, right? You don't want too many 1-cost cards, but he's not my early play that I'm looking for, but I still think he's the better card of the 2. So we're going to take Cogsworth in that situation. I think you know what I'm taking here. I haven't even... My eyes were drawn directly to this. There might have been a better card in the back, but King of Hearts, absolutely. Now, be mindful, we've already got a 4-drop, right? So that's something to pay attention to, but for me, King of Hearts is so much better than any other card in this pack. If there was a Hey Hey in here, or the 2/4 Simba, or certainly an Arthur or a Turbo. I would probably look at taking one of them, but King of Hearts is fantastic. I love him so much. I'm really sorry to Adam Fenton. I talked ill of this art on on my rankings, and I still feel bad about it. To each their own, right? And I shouldn't be besmirching anyone's hard work, because I'm sure that was really hard work to create any of these amazing arts, and props to you, Adam, for the hard work that you do. Simba is the easy pick here. For me, it's probably the top 2 or 3 drop between him and Fix It Felix. And Visions of the Future, fine. Night Howler Rage, okay. Everything else, pretty subpar. All right, coming in here, we've got Clarabelle, definitely the pick for me here. Low C quality there, a solid C in Took, but I've already got 2 4-drops. Clarabelle is amazing on the play, or if you can aggro really quickly with a bunch of drops, but even though she's ink probably half the time, she's still really amazing on the play. So happy to have her on the team. Okay. I think we got our first real 1-drop here in Basil. Happy to take him first. We don't have any 2-drops yet, so I think there's an argument to be made for taking Daisy Duck here, and she is probably the 2nd or 3rd best 2-drop. So, but Cogsworth isn't really a 1-drop. I need an early play, but I guess the density is higher with 1-drop, so maybe I will take Daisy Duck. I think both of these you could make an argument for, and Shenzi's fine, but we've already got a couple of 3-drops. So let's go in that direction for now. And fair enough, there's Shenzi back. You can make an argument for Hypnotic Strength, for Healing Touch. Probably not Hypnotic Deduction. These 2 are garbage, but Shenzi I'm perfectly happy with. Shenzi's just solid. So this is one situation where we're getting Simba pick 8 that we probably shouldn't be getting, but it's AI, so that's okay. Also would consider Mother Gothel here. Again, we're going to have a density of 3-drops already early in pack 1. Well, midway through pack 1. But I just like Simba so much. So Mother Gothel will have to be passed. All of these are garbage, so now at this point, we're in the D category. We're looking for inkables. What's our highest quality inkable? Typically, I want a body in my D cards, because worst case scenario, if we've like emptied each other's boards and I top deck something, I'd much rather top deck a character I can play than a Medal of Heroes that necessitates having another character. So I'm going to take Tipo here, even though you can absolutely make an argument for Medal of Heroes there. Hopefully I'm playing neither, and they're both ink. Night Howler Rage versus Seven Dwarves Mine. I know Nive's Nerd Corner, you love the Seven Dwarves Mine. I am less sold on it, but I still think it is better than Night Howler Rage. So I will pick those both up. There's a good chance that both are going to be ink. Rapunzel's Tower, I mentioned, is D, is ink, but every once in a while can come in handy. This is an F. And last pick, Glimmer versus Glimmer. We are not going to be expecting to play that. So looking at our curve after pack 1, we've got one cost card, though again, not one you want to play on turn 1 or any sort of early play. Got 1 2-drop we actually want to play, 1 ink. We're heavy on 3-drops right now, so we got to keep that in mind. We can't end up... 3 drops is going to be your highest density, so it's not a terrible thing to have most 3 drops at this point, but still, you don't want to end up with 15 3-drops in your deck. That's just going to be problematic. Alright, another bad pack. We got a lot of Fs and Ds in this one. We've got another Cogsworth, though I'm not necessarily sure I want 2 of them. Fix It Felix Jr. is not good, but if I can pick up a couple of the libraries, and I already have the Seven Dwarves Mine, it can certainly be a boon there. And the fact that if I didn't already have a Cogsworth, for me this would be easy. I would take Cogsworth over Fix It Felix, but given that that I've already got a Cogsworth, I don't have a 5-drop yet, I will take a flyer on Fix It Felix. Alright. So, I mentioned that Denahi, of the kind of aggressively costed, uninkable vanillas that they've got in this set, is probably one of my least favorite of them. If it was a 5/7, I'd be thrilled with it. So I'm not going to go in that direction, even though, again, perfectly reasonable option there. I really like Minnie Mouse. Monstro I would like in other sets, but because of the sheer density of 5-drops in this set, of really high quality 5-drops, I'm not going to go there. And Minnie Mouse can be fantastic. I want to pick up some bodyguards to partner with Minnie Mouse, but there's still plenty of cards left. All right, what do we got next? We don't have a high density of uninkables yet, so I'm thrilled to take King Candy here. He's a really high quality card. You've got a solid body, 3/3/2 lore, and you effectively get to draw 2 cards if you've got any sort of like mediocre card in hand. One thing to consider, having this card in your deck, don't always be inking. If you're at 7 ink already and you've got a kind of mediocre card in hand that you haven't had a chance to play yet, don't necessarily ink it if you don't need to, because you never know when you might draw King Candy, and you could draw 2 better cards and then put that kind of mediocre card on the bottom of your deck. So let's go with King Candy there, which means I'm going to want to be looking for the 1-drop King Candy to potentially shift on. Again, as I mentioned in the reviews, I'm not looking to shift as a matter of cause. I'm not aggressively looking to shift King Candy on turn 3, but I still want that option. I want some 1-drop 2/2s anyway, so if I'm going to get some 1-drop 2/2s, I'd rather they be King Candy, so at least I have the option. Best 5-drop in this set. Potentially for draft, of the commons and uncommons, probably the best 5-drop in all the sets so far, but just so aggressively costed. All right, this is where I want Turbo. Nice. I didn't see him. I was going to lean towards Mother Gothel here, but Turbo is fantastic. He is my favorite 2-drop. He is going to do a lot of damage, get a lot of early 2-for-1s, and even late, not the end of the world. There's usually something that you can take advantage of. Yes, it's uninkable, so do not just pick a bunch of them without paying attention to your uninkable count. But love him. And I've already got a couple of 5s, so Mother Gothel really being truly a 5, where I want a player, is relevant. Alright, we've got another 7 Dwarves Mine. I'm not thrilled about having another one of those. And really any locations I don't want a ton of, because in Limited, if my opponent's got a bunch of characters and I got a bunch of locations, what do you think's going to happen? Who do you think's winning that game, right? So you got to be very cautious about the number of locations. We're only in pack 2. I don't want to be at 2 locations already by pick 6 of pack 2. If there were libraries, I might feel better about it. But I think at this point I'll take When Will My Life Begin. It's not amazing, but it's a song and it can sometimes have a good effect. And we've already got 1 King of Hearts is kind of where I usually find that being the best. It's kind of a quasi bodyguard. Alright, we're down to low quality cards now. Of the low quality cards, there's really only 2 that stand out for me. One is the 04, so Nala in that case, though there is also an Emerald one. And one's Radagon's Party, for the same reason I just mentioned about the Mine. I'm not looking to get this one yet. Radagon's Party is a card that I'm hoping to ink almost all the time, but every once in a while it could sneaky get you some lore, and that'll feel real good. Nala, I'm really only ever wanting to play on the play turn 1, but I am low on 1-drops for turn 1, so wow, okay, well, we got 2 really good cards, but by far, Hey Hey is the better of the 2. 1, we were already saturated for 3s, though we're starting to get saturated for 5s, which I warned you in the set review is going to happen. There's a lot of really quality 5s, so we got to be careful. But I'm never going to pass a Hey Hey. I mean, at some point I would have to stop. But if I got fed 4 more Hey Heys, I would take them. It'd be more 5-drops than I would want at that point, but I would take them. Alright, again, we're down to the low C, D quality here. Of these, your 2-cost, 2/2 lores, there's a few of them, are the best of these options. So, I don't want to play it, but that's fine. Alright, I already mentioned we've got too many 5s for this point in the draft. Sleepy's garbage, so we're going to go with Shenzi here. Again, we had a lot of 3s, but we've been balancing things out. We didn't take a ton of 3s this time. Both of these are relatively Fs. You could call them D quality, but uninkable. So I'm hoping to play neither of these. Of these 2, I guess Gathering Knowledge and Wisdom, but I don't plan on playing either, so... And another one that's going into the discard. Alright, so where are we at? We really only have 1 true 1-drop, so we gotta be mindful of that. We've only got 2 backs left. We've got 3 playable 2-drops, though I don't really want to be playing Taffeta if I can help it. T-Po should be ink most of the time. We got 5 3-drops, so that's kind of where we want to be at the end of pack 2. 4 drops, fine. 5 drops, too many for this point in the draft, but not by a huge stretch. So I'm pretty happy with where we're at. Let's keep it rolling here. All right, I feel like this is gonna be a mem. Let me look at the rest of the pack. Oh, come on. You're making me pick between the best 1-drop and a really high quality 4-drop. So let me be very clear. Madam Mim is obviously a better card. In many, many ways, Madam Mim is a better card. But I can get some pretty good 4-drops. And I can't really get a ton of... I can't get any 1-drops that are even close to the quality of Arthur. And my uninkable count's low at this point. Oh, I am not going to fault you for taking Madam Mim in this spot. But I've played enough of these practice games so far that Arthur is just far and away been amazing. Now, he gets a lot better if I can find some of those libraries, but even so. And let's not discount that we got a couple of other quality cards here. Fix-It Felix Jr., excellent, second or first best 3-drop in this set. King Candy in other sets would be higher. At this point is probably like 4th best 5-drop, but still really high quality. Oh, I want to take Madam Mim, but no, I'm gonna be responsible, and I'm gonna take the high quality 1-drop, super high quality 1-drop. Okay, so I want to take Minnie Mouse here, and she's far and away the best card in the pack here. I wonder if I take Happy just because I'm low on 1-drops that I actually want to play on turn 1, right? I really only have Nala and Arthur at this point, right? 1-drops. Yeah. Nala and Arthur. So, I don't think I can pass Minnie at this point. If this was pack 4, and I was in the same situation, I would almost certainly pick Happy just because I almost had to. But at this point, I'm going to be greedy. I'm gonna be as greedy as I was responsible in pick 1. Oh no! Well, there's the library I want, but there's also potentially the best 5-drop. Oh no! Library makes Arthur a heck of a lot better, and really everything. Hey, so good! And I do have a lot of 5-drops. Oh. Again, Archimedes amazing, but I'm telling you, compared to these two, no. And Mother Gothel also perfectly respectable. Oh. Am I gonna regret this? You know what? I'm gonna be disciplined again. Hey is so much better. But, see? This is what I'm talking about. If I picked Hey there, I couldn't pick Zazu at this point because I'd be super saturated on 5s. There's so many high quality 5s in this set. But now I can take Zazu. Okay. This one's worse. I don't have any 6-drops yet, so I could probably get away with taking Maiden Marian here. I think she's the best card here. But even though I don't have any 6s yet, again, I have a lot of 5s and a decent amount of 4s. So my curve's starting to shift upwards, and I shouldn't be comfortable with that right now. Okay, this is where, again, I gotta be disciplined. I'm gonna take a 2-drop where Stitch is the much better card, but the 2-drop is more in line with getting my curve a little bit lower as it's kind of trending upwards. Oh, see, I mean, maybe it's just me. Maybe Arthur isn't as great as I'm making him out to be, but darn it, I really think so. Look at the 1 and 2-drops in this set, and he trades 2 for 1 with 95% of them. The fact that we took the library as well feels real good. Okay, so I know I said my curve was a little high, but Stitch is still a great card, and I can't pass him over Ink, effectively. Oh. Yeah, I've been taking a few uninkables this pack, and my curves get really high, so as much as King Candy is just significantly better than Arthur, and I really don't want to play Arthur on turn 2. I still think I'm taking Arthur here. Keep my curve lower, make sure it's inkable. Okay, 3 pieces of ink. Of those, a Ride Against Party is the most likely to actually be usable. Again, we've got ink, 1 searches items, 1 requires princess, both of them are just ink. Hopefully we don't have to play them, but if we have to play them as ink, not the end of the world. You're going to be tempted, when you have an opening hand of a card you know you want to ink, to mulligan it away, because it's probably the worst card in your deck. But there's a good argument to be made for keeping that, so that you know that you can ink it early, so you're not top decking it later in the game, when all you ever want it for is ink. Alright. Speaking of those aggressively costed, uninkable vanilla characters, Denai, not so great. Moana, prime. I know that's my favorite 3-drop of the commons and uncommons. I know Minnie's great. She is all-star. Love, 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 love Moana. Okay. Queen's garbage. Really, it's Minnie, hey. See, this is what I'm talking about. There's so many good ones that we see hey again. It's only pick 2, but he's a very respectable pick 2. Namely, I forgot to look at my curve in between the last 2 packs. I just got excited. I skipped ahead, and I really needed to make sure you're gonna have 30 seconds a minute in between each pack to take a look at your curve, reorganize it, all that. Take that time, because now I've kind of lost track of how many 5-drops I have. So, hold please. We got Fix and Felix, so we got 1. We got Maid Marian, I'm gonna count because she's increasing my curve up pretty high. We got 2 Zazus, that brings us to 4. And I know we've got King Candy. And I think that's it. Oh, and then another hey. We're at 6. So this would probably be like the last 5-drop I would want in deck, but honestly, yeah, I mean, if that's my last 5-drop, I'm happy with that. It means I'm missing out on Minnie Mouse, but I think I'm perfectly okay with that. Okay, see, I don't think I can take Zazu here. This is what I'm talking about. Alright, so what are we taking? The early drop, I'm not taking Word again. I can't do that. I feel like Bruni's probably the pick here. Yes, it's only 1 cost less, and Zazu is significantly better, but I gotta keep my curve down. It's either that or Visions of the Future. It might be Visions of the Future, actually. I should love Bruni. If you haven't seen my Amethyst set review and you want to see someone just breaking their own heart as they go through it, check that out, because it hurts. I'll link that in the comments down below, or in the description of the video, one of the two. Yeah, I've got a ton of 4s as well. And Visions of the Future might be something I play on too if my opponent's not playing aggressively. Yeah, okay. I needed that 1 drop. Oh, I needed that 1 drop. Thank you, Vanellope von Schweetz. Yeah, nothing else even close at this point. Why do you gotta do that to me? Why you gotta... Okay, at this point we actually need 3s. And of the 3s, Clarabelle is decidedly the best of them. We got another library. I will take that. Maybe I should be taking Happy. I can't pass library here, especially not with a couple of Arthurs. Yeah, I think we'll take Archimedes here. There's a distinct possibility one of the 5's wheels comes around again, or I could take that one. I could at this point. Now we've got 2 libraries in 1 7 Dwarves Mine, so I don't want more than 3 locations. So it's really down to Fix It Felix Jr. or Clarabelle. No. We've got 1 already. They're not particularly good even with the locations, and we've got plenty of 5. So we'll take another Clarabelle here. No. Too slow. Hypnotic Strength is the best option here. Of these, Ed is absolutely the most playable. I don't really want another Ed, so I'm hopefully going to look to cut one of those. Alright, now we just build our deck. It's easier to just add all if you haven't used this system before and then go back and edit. So locations, don't want any locations other than... I might keep Rapunzel's Tower if I need inkables. I think Radigan's Tower is worse than Rapunzel's Tower. Radigan's Party is worse than Rapunzel's. Yeah, so we'll keep this one potentially as ink, and maybe it becomes useful at some point. Yeah, we'll keep the song, actions, no glimmer versus glimmer, no gathering knowledge and wisdom, no royal tantrum, definitely. We'll keep the rest. Items, queen sensors, no. We're down to 42 cards. Sapphire Chronicon, definitely no. And then we'll get rid of one of those Eds. Where are you, Ed? Perfect. Okay. All right. So you play through 3 games. Again, the quality of the opponent here is pretty low, so don't read too much into this, but yeah. So this is one where I think I'll keep Rapunzel's Tower in hand just as ink. I've already got a 2-drop, so I'll put Taffeta back. I actually don't mind these later, because there's a distinct chance by the time it's turn like 7, 8 or something, I might have another play, and I need a small drop to be able to play out a couple of cards, and 2/2 lore is more likely to survive at that point in the game. Maybe I can manage the board enough to have it survive a couple of turns. So I actually don't mind one of these later in the game. Other than that, so we're going 1-drop Arthur into 2-drop Daisy into 3-drop either Moana or Simba, depending on if we have to control the board or are looking to quest out a little bit more. We'll see. I'm holding this for Nive. Nive, this is for you. I'm going to keep this in hand for you. But it's probably going to be ink. Alright. Basil. Oh, there's a 2-for-1 waiting to happen. Alright, so I'm going to... We've got our turns like 1 through 3 laid out pretty heavily. And this is going to start eating turn. This could be turn 4, right? 2 cost to play it, 2 to move in. So I don't think we're going to be playing Vanellope anytime soon. So let's get out Arthur here and pass the turn. Okay, so this is one of those situations where Arthur is going to die to Mother Gothel and not 2-for-1. So we're only getting a 1.5-for-1, but honestly, I will absolutely take that, because then someone like Simba can mop her up, or even Daisy Duck if I so choose, which is pretty rare for her. Alright, let's ink the tower, and let's challenge into Basil. Now. Oh my goodness! Dream come true! Yes, don't play this card. I'm going to play Simba, and the next turn I'm going to be able to challenge Daisy Duck into the Queen, and then Simba, and draw a card off of it. Alright, we're going to keep Fix It Felix because we've got the mine here, so he's going to help with that. I think I might get rid of Marion, because by that time I think I'm still going to want to be using this, or I'm hopefully drawing enough cards for this, right? So let's get rid of Marion here, let's play out Simba, and let's get rid of Mother Gothel here. So bad. Oh, he's given it resist and evasive. Sure. So we won't challenge it this turn. Yeah. Let's quest with Daisy Duck. Yeah, I don't really want to give it resist. Do I care about activating this? I mean, I could also give Challenger +2. I challenge in with 1, then challenge in with 3, effectively. Yeah, you know what? Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's challenge there, because it's resist 1, right? Yeah. Oh. This turn? It's not even until the end of turn? This is what I'm talking about, the AI. The AI is utterly garbage. Oh my gosh. Obviously, you should never play that on your turn without challenging it anything. It just throws cards away sometimes, effectively. Alright. Oh, it's Ward that's... No. Chosen character gains resist +1 evasive this turn. Okay, it shouldn't have evasive at this point. Sure, whatever. Let's not get too wrapped up in it. Let us ink. The card that is ink. And let's go with... Sure, let's go with Mine Train. Let's move Deer Simba into there and we'll damage Lilo. And we will quest. And we'll pass the turn. So that was some UI issues there. It's fine. So we should have been able to challenge Simba into the queen, but at the end of the day, it's not going to matter. Alright, so Simba can only challenge into one character this turn, and Daisy Duck challenging into Lilo would just be discarded. So we're going to challenge Daisy Duck into the queen. We're going to challenge Simba into Lilo to draw a card. Okay, we're going to have 5 at this point. So we can do one of two things. We could pay 3 for something and move something into Seven Dwarfs Mine, but that's not going to be nearly as efficient as playing out our 5-drop. And that will buff up our Seven Dwarfs Mine. So let's do that. Okay. Wonderful. Another target for Simba. Notice he's now drawn 2 cards and is still on the board because there's a lot of little guys in this set. Alright, so he is almost certainly going to go away at this point. Minnie Mouse, if she was able to quest, could heal him, but almost certainly Vanellope should be challenging into Simba at this point. Obviously, if we had a bodyguard, that'd be great. We don't, not the end of the world. Okay, so I'm going to drop 2 3-drops. We're going to drop Moana for sure. Let's just close out the game here. So do we want to drop Shenzi or Archimedes? We've got a big body. We've had enough control here. Archimedes at this point is significantly better. So let's ink Shenzi and play Archimedes. I do want to hold up Visions of the Future in case things go sideways. I want to have it. So I could have inked Visions of the Future instead of Shenzi, but I want to have it in case I need to go searching for something. Alright. Let's quest out here and pass the turn. So at this point, obviously, the game's already over. It's a bad AI model. It, is not really doing the thing, but that's okay. So, now Simba's getting 3 cards. This is not going to happen when you play a human opponent. You're not going to get 3 cards off Simba, but there's been plenty of times where I've gotten 2. So, yeah, take that for what it's worth. Okay, so let's quest here. And I think we'll play out Minnie Mouse and Daisy Duck and pass the turn. Okay, Merlin's looking top and bottom. Okay, game's already over. Let's just finish it as quickly as possible here. Alright. So, that's game 1. Let's go into game 2. So the way that this makes it slightly more difficult is it gives the opponent additional lore. 2 for game 2 and 4 for game 3. It's not going to matter. Alright, I tend to mulligan 5 and 6 plus drops a lot at the start just because ultimately it's going to be a while before I see them. They're both very, very good, so there's an absolute argument to be made for keeping them, but I genuinely think that I'm much more likely to want to make sure I've got more options for my early plays. I don't need 2 Clarabelles, I'm never playing 2, so 1 is only ever going to be ink. So I think I'll look for a 2-drop. I really would like my 2-drop to not be Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, but it'll be what it'll be. Alright, looks like Arthur's getting to work again. What do we want to ink here? I think of all these cards, the lowest power is probably the Hypnotic Strength. So let's go with that. Alright, what you got? Something else for me? Yes, this is what I'm talking about. Arthur's getting his 2 for 1, 2 for 1, 2 for 1. Arthur's getting his 2-for-1. Alright, looks like we're going to be of these. Yeah, sorry, I don't want the mine. Because I want to have, I was going to ink When Will Life Begin, but I really want to have it for when I first activate King of Hearts. Oh my gosh, it's so bad. 2-for-1. Okay, so at this point, what do we want to do? At this point, we're kind of, I mean, he's only got 1 strength on the other side. So normally I would not play Library on turn 3, but with 1 strength on the other side, oh my gosh, 2 1-strength characters? This library's sticking around for a long time. So it's going to gain me a lot of good passive lore. Alright. Oh, and with that coming out soon? Okay, so... If I had Hey still the bodyguard, I would probably keep Minnie, but I don't. And so I think I'm going to go that direction. So this is where I'm going to activate King of Hearts at some point. But I move him to the library, and then even if he gets removed, I get to draw a card off of it. Yes! Give it to me. Okay, so they've got enough strength on the board that they can remove it, so I have to look for the card advantage to move it over if I wanted to use it this turn. Otherwise, I have to lock something down. So I think I'm going to do that. Normally, I would just want to quest with it, move it into the library, and play a 4-drop or less. But the only 3-drops I've got are these ones, and Clarabelle's ink right now because she's not drawing me cards anytime soon. So just to make sure that King of Hearts survives, we're going to use the ability, even though it is better suited questing most of the time onto a board like this, but I just don't have the cards to back it up. So let's put out Fix-It Felix, and he can start mopping up some of these other characters on the other side of the board. Alright, we got a support character, so we're going to have to be careful about that one. So support 3 means that anything, so Fix-It Felix going to, the bodyguard is going to help a ton. Perfect. Alright, let's run that there. Let's put out our bodyguard. Yes. And I think at this point, 1 + 3, so if they supported one of these two, then between the two of them they could take out Hey. So I don't want that to happen. So we're going to lock down Radagon again here. And we should ink at this point. I still might want to keep this up just to keep my Hey alive even longer. So as crazy as it sounds, I feel like I'm supposed to ink Zazu here. So let's move Hey into the library so that if by some reason he is removed, I get to draw a card. Gazelle is terrible. And this is bad AI, right? Like they should probably be supporting with Mutt onto the Royal Guard and challenging into Hey just to get him most of the way there. Alright, so this is where I can use Maid Marian. What did I just do? Anyways, I'm going to use Maid Marian to shrink Rut to run the Hey into Rut, and then at that point we're just kind of off to the races. They're not getting through Hey at this point. So if they're not getting through Hey, then I don't need to keep locking them down. I'd rather, great. I meant to quest there. Should have quested. I should be at 6, but that's okay. And yeah, I suppose I will challenge here with the thought process of I'm going to be able to do just as much damage to it by challenging with it in Maid Marian next turn. Though Maid Marian I usually want to quest with, right? But I can't really risk it staying around longer and having to challenge with both. Okay, so let's challenge here. Challenge here, like we said we were going to do. Let's challenge here. Let's lock that down, quest there. And let's play King Candy. And let's put back, so next turn I can go for 7, next turn I can go for Ed and Moana, so let's put back Zazu. And let's move, King of Hearts is probably the most likely to perish. I'd probably fix it Felix actually, but that's okay. Let's pass. Alright. And at this point they're just stuck. And that's basically game at this point. Let's ink that, let's play that, let's lock down Radagon, let's challenge there, and then next turn we will win. Told you, most of the time it's just a 6-cost uninkable, 3/7, 2 lore. Alright, and that's this game. Alright, so for the last game, the opponent was, see, stuck in the hand! What did I tell you about these cards? They look so good, but most of the time they're just going to get stuck in your hand. Alright, player 1 is starting the game. I can't even remember if I'm player 1 or player 2. I think I'm starting the game, in which case I will want Nala. I'll get her out early. Ed being uninkable, I don't really want to deal with that. I'm on the play, so I definitely want Clarabelle. Definitely want to get rid of that. This I might keep around either for ink or for drastic measures. Okay. Alright, let's ink Penelope. We're going to use Arthur as our control card. Okay, oh, there's the Ed back that I got rid of. Alright, let's get rid of the... I think I'm going to keep the mine. I think I'm going to specifically actually play the mine. Maybe I can snag a 1 willpower character of theirs. I can't, but that's okay, because it's going to have a real time dealing with either of these. Alright, let's ink Sadly Hey Hey. But this is where Clarabelle shines. Okay, and we will pass the turn. So this is where we're just trying to eke out as much lore from Nala as we can before it is inevitably removed. Yeah, I told you, Anna's bad. Look at this situation. Yes, it's an AI. You probably wouldn't play Anna there, but my goodness. Okay, so this is a situation we're kind of going aggro at this point. Where I just want to quest out quickly. So I'm going to ink Cogsworth because he's more of a control card. And then I'm going to play Arthur to mop up some of these characters that might start challenging into Nala or Clarabelle or something like that, right? So this is where I think next turn I'll use Seven Dwarves Mine plus Arthur to remove Anna. Oh. That is just a terrible hand from the opponent. Alright, Stitch gonna come in real handy here. Let's use Stitch on Daisy Duck. So we have to challenge, so we're gonna challenge... Let's challenge there, and we'll use Clarabelle, even though, like I said, I kind of want to be aggro. But Stitch, when they're going that wide, Stitch is just beautiful. And then, again, we're eking out as much as we can here. Oh, don't mind me. Alright, that's the turn there. So we're just crushing it at this point. Nala eking out some early lore, Arthur controlling the board, Archimedes doing what he does well, Stitch controlling the wide board. So now we've got Shenzi, who is evasive, who can mop up Archimedes, but we're so ahead at this point. And at least Seven Dwarves Mine can remove Shenzi once they inevitably challenge, that I'm not too worried about it. On top of that, we're about to... I could prevent him from challenging, but I think I'd rather just get Zazu down as just another threat. Okay, notably, Arthur has to challenge here, so we'll challenge into... There's knighty things. I mean, this could also shift, sure. Let's go into Anna. Okay, and then we'll quest out. Yeah, that was what, turn 6, and Arthur's still on the board because that 3 butt just makes all the difference. Yeah. Yep, that's fine. Right? Alright, so hopefully we can get an inkable here so we can both play. Good. So we can both play Ed and move something into Seven Dwarfs Mine. Let's move in Arthur and get rid of Shinji. And I kind of want Arthur to stick around. Just in case. Oh, I guess I don't need to. What am I doing? I do this all the time. You're probably all shouting at me, why are you playing cards? Quest for the win, Heath. I have blinders sometimes. I'm such a control player that I just need to control the board. I must leave you with nothing. Emptiness. So that's why sometimes you will see me, if I'm playing out, where I'm just completely ignoring that I have the win and and I just need to control the board. All right. I hope you found that at least somewhat informative and enjoyable. I know the AI thing is a little bit tricky, but there's still, I think, a lot to be learned from practicing here. So, hope you all have a great release weekend. Get out there, do some drafts. Let me know in the comments or on Twitter. We are at BOG Lorcana on Twitter. Let me know on there or here how your drafts went. What were some of the highlights for you? What were some of the best picks? The ones that you were surprised about, or that some of the things that I said on here were reinforced there. Love to hear any and all of your stories. Thank you all so much. We'll see you next time. Cheers.